So like a little tighter. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
All right. So now we have Angie and Matt sitting Indian style, as it may be.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it doesn't look like what they're doing is very hard.
Just try it.
No, not me, them.
I'm just saying, just try it. It's like,
now, you have to have the straight back, right?
No, you can do
just
whatever
how
you
he's
want.
sitting
Yeah,
right now
5,
is fine.
10 minutes, 15 minutes is usually okay. But you get into the half hour to like 40 minutes, and you have just pain you never even knew.
In your book, A Fighter's Heart. Yeah.
Yes.
You so succinctly wrote, and I applaud you. I like succinct, which is odd.
It's a key, though.
I talk so much. You actually did reach a level of consciousness. You actually did hit a separate plane of existence, and you wrote about it so quickly that the reader has no choice other than to completely believe you, because if you were full of shit, you would have made a whole chapter out of the explosion of colors around you and the absurdity of life, and pain is suffering, like the Buddha said.
Right.
It was literally...
Well, pain is an illusion, yeah.
It was a half of a paragraph when you kind of went through the other side,
right,
and everything made sense, and every leaf on the tree was separate.
Well, it's pretty cool. I mean, you have like what's called a busy mind, because we have phones and TV and everything. There's so much shit in your mind.
And our thoughts alone.
The
4 agreements, Ruiz says it's the Toltec, it's the marketplace, the giant marketplace where it just keeps going and going and going.
So they say those guys were telling me that we couldn't talk either. That was the other thing. It was
silent. So I fail right there.
Which is not a joke, dude. I mean, not a joke not to talk for 11 days or whatever. I was going to spend 16 days, and
Wait, you didn't talk for 11 days?
I talked a little because they were. I could ask questions. They would let me ask questions once a week at night.
My question would be, when can I talk?
Cause I just want to know am I fucking this all up? Am I doing?
Can I jerk off in this?
Is this supposed to be? Oh yeah. Well, that happens. You gotta sleep close to the floor.
Take that one back. I'm unwrapping that other one that bumped.
There you go.
About Apidej not being able to whoop my ass.
So yeah, anyway, you could
11 days you're meditating. That's all you do.
Yeah, you're walking.
Except eat, obviously.
Yeah, you eat. Well, you eat in the morning, and you get one little cone of dishes that fits together, and that's your food for the day. And you got to put a circle of chalk around it to keep the ants from getting into it, and you got to be done eating by noon, because if you're a Buddhist, you don't put food in your mouth at the temple. You don't put food in your mouth after noon. And I'm probably getting all this wrong. It's been a while, but sleep close to the ground, all kinds of stuff like that. You don't kill anything. You walk around the ants and you brush the ants off the toilet, and it's Thailand, a lot of ants. So, but the reason it's so boring and it's so hard is you end up not being mindful, of course. Like, you end up soaring into your past and like what happened in 3rd grade, and you go through, and within 3 days, this is all you've been doing for 12 hours a day. You've run through all your memories. You're done. Like, you've gone through everything that ever happened to you. You're like, what the fuck do I think about now? Because I've gone through, like, you're like, 2nd grade, that teacher, and what did she say?
Every Christmas,
everything is
every
basically
tunnel you ever
done.
built in the snow with your friends.
Yeah, it's all you've been through it, and and it's.
I never thought about that for a moment. That after 3 days of meditating, that you would go through all.
Even though you're trying to be mindful and not do that, you can't help it. So you go back to all these memories.
And that is almost a frightening proposition.
Terrifying.
I'm going to sit you down for 3 days, and you will have gone through every memory you ever had. Then what do you do?
Then what? And that's when your mind is supposed to start to quiet down. I mean, for me, it took about 6 days because I'm a mess and I have a busy mind, but you start to, to me, it was more like I could see a little bit more clearly. You started to be able to really see, like, you could pick a problem out and like. Really, like, hold it up like this and look at your problem at all angles and really see clearly what it was.
Bobby Lee explained that he was a comic that was here who must have a much busier mind than you. He's batshit crazy. And he's a comic, enough said.
Right.
But he said your thoughts just become these bubbles in front of you.
Right.
And you rotate them and you turn them around.
Yeah.
And then you can just pop the bubble to try to be away with the thought.
Yeah. It's something, that was similar. It's pretty wild.
I think the listener needs to take this with you. Like, explain to us when you reach
Well, after you...
And are you aware that you've reached...
I think so. Listen, do not take me as as a master of meditation by any means, but...
No, you're a seeker.
But hey, what are you doing, dude? No.
No, dude, Angie's cheating. Angie's got his hands behind his back, resting on the ground. 4 minutes, you're out. Look how mad
you're
boy's
right. You're right. Just stay. No. Keep him there. It's going to suck.
Yeah, he was leaning back.
It's going to start to suck.
Angie was in recline. Are you starting to get a little tight? No?
No, it's all good.
All right. So after the 6th day, you've run through all your thoughts of your entire life.
Yeah, and you start to get to that more of a quiet mind and more, but still, man, it's so boring because it's like you're like, this has been the longest day in the history of mankind, and you realize it's 9 a.m. and then you're like, oh my God, I've been meditating for fucking ever. What time is it? It's 11:15. You know what I mean? It's like, it just goes on and on. And we go to the hall and they chant, and you sit there and chant with them kind of, and working your breathing and stuff like that, and try and sit for as long as they do. Which is interesting to meditate with people, to be sitting with a bunch of monks.
Why?
It's just, I think it helps a little bit. You kind of like soak it up a little bit. But for me, the walking meditation, I got to move, I'm like
walking meditation is where you had the breakthrough.
I had a great time, and that was really fun. And I would walk up and down the mountain, which was beautiful. I was like in the jungle, like, we were right on the border with Laos. I think I was looking into Laos, and it was like really.
But what was it
jungle.
when you had your break, when your mind got so quiet? You're smirking. Why?
Oh, I don't remember. It's all gone, dude. I wish I could tell you. Yeah, we could read it, I guess.
If I could find it. How long ago have you written this book?
This was like
about a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
a little less.
I realized it's way fresher in my mind than yours because I've read it like 4 times. By day 6, I had turned a corner of some kind, and my bouts of deep boredom were fading because what is boredom? It's just another feeling, just an emotion, just an illusion. It's not real. Boredom is like the pain. It comes to show you the character of boredom itself. The pain arises to teach you about pain. Once I sat for 45 minutes and stopped more out of shock than out of pain. Ajahn, when he went into deep meditation, would sit for 6.5 hours. My mindfulness was increasing, and I found it easier, could fall into it with more familiarity. Things did start to become clearer. I could see more angles on my thoughts. I was starting to see 360 degrees around all my problems. What the fuck does that mean?
That's pretty good. Actually, I like that. That was good, man.
Read that again. You wrote it. Well, what do you mean?
I sounded like a stranger. I was like, I don't remember writing that
I
at all.
I was starting to see 360 degrees around all of my problems. That's like someone stoned out of their fucking head talk.
Yeah, well, listen, altered states and meditation and, we can get into all that stuff. I think, mindfulness, it is special, and there is something great about it. The Zen is like, it's kind of, when people talk about Zen, it always sounds like bullshit because you can't talk about it. It has to sound mysterious because I can't tell you it. You have to kind of embrace it. You know what I mean? It's like the sound of one hand clapping, all that stuff. There's a limit to what words and what I can describe to you, and there has to be your engagement, in the process and in what it is. But
I also had to adjust to the lack of food and the 6 hours of sleep, and felt energized and strong all day without the coffee crutch. In part 2, the contentment came from the lack of all the technological intrusions that had been part of my life. This is the part I love.
So much worse now.
The endless electric hum of microchips that surrounded me. It was like being a little kid again. I rediscovered the ability to stare at clouds and trees for long periods of time. There was a sense that this could go on forever. But there was also the world calling outside my window. Through the jungle, the wind would come winding and twisting through the thick trees and dense bamboo, the drops on the leaves. There was constant noise, the thrum of far-off engines, a scooter on the road, the wind. Cicadas?
Yeah, cicadas.
Cicadas. The boys next door chattering in liquid Thai, solitary monks clumping past my window. In the darkness, on my 10th morning, I climbed into the car, back in my civilian dark clothes and out of my pure, simple whites that had been such a comfort such an ease of mind to wear. I had deodorant on, and it stunk through my Bruce Lee t-shirts. All the chains and accessories of society, technology, money, and credit cards, tickets, and passports, and a friend's borrowed cell phone, each heavier than the last. John invited me back to write a book about what he was doing, the meditation and the experiences of Farang at different temples. I think he was inviting me in the sense that Buddhist monks sometimes invite lay people to come and work with them, to build temples and so on, to build merit for themselves. That I loved so much.
Thank you, man.
The description of what we do all day, you having had that many days with just a robe and a tower of food with chalk around it.
Yeah.
Like paper money.
Yeah. No, it's a trip.
Keys and just fucking all this shit. But all you have, and deodorant stink, like what the fuck?
You know, it's funny. It's part of, I think, what drives me and what I do is hard. You know, it's like depriving myself and doing things that are extreme because it's so fun to come home, you know, because it's like, you know, it's so enjoyable to get back to things. But, you know, I worked in the South Pole, and when we came back, after 6 months on the ice, right?
What do you mean? Go on.
Why? I was doing construction. Of course.
Yeah, naturally. There's a house being built next door in the Palisades. You're like, I'm going on the South Pole. They need a rec center.
But,
this is modern day Uncle Dan.
But,
I noticed, by the way, both guys sitting in this style have started
starting to suck.
It's been 8 minutes.
I know. You think it's like, you're like, fuck, I can do an hour. Hell no, dude. If you're really flexible, yeah, great. But, or if you're a girl with a higher pain tolerance. But, anyway.
So South Pole construction.
You get off the ice and you land in New Zealand, and the perfume of land, you know, it's like this incredible aroma. It's incredible because you've been on the ice so long. You've been smelling nothing. And there's this like dense, dank, and it'll happen to people on ships, and it's happened to me on sailboats. You know, when we were doing the Pacific, when you get downwind to Tahiti after, 20, 30 days, you smell the loom of land. You smell this aroma, this perfume, and it's incredible. And that kind of joy, like you appreciate things. You know, you things you can't appreciate otherwise. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times you get stuck and you get in ruts, and it's very hard to appreciate what you have and how beautiful and wonderful your life is, and you have to deprive yourself a little bit to do so. You know?
In the book Packing for Mars, I remember they were talking about guys that had been in the space station for like 3 months.
Right.
And they landed, it was someplace weird, it was Iceland. And when they got on land, like you said, when they're done being, I guess, in quarantine, and they're like, you can go out and walk around. Flowers.
Right. Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, there's a purple
Hello,
thing.
trees. Hello, flowers.
A baby in a baby carriage. These six, I guess, American astronauts went, a baby! There's a baby! And they start running towards this Icelandic woman, and she just sees 6-foot guys.
Yeah, like what the...
Going, a baby! They were like, it's a fucking baby!
Grab it!
It's beautiful! Like, they couldn't believe how amazingly beautiful a baby in a stroller... They lost their shit.
Yeah. After 6 months in Antarctica, you're walking down the street in Christchurch in New Zealand. You're like, try to fucking act normal. Because you're like,
so it's like
I want to roll in the grass. I want to fucking, it's totally like being on acid. Yeah. Everything's very intense and like, seeing, women in clothes and all kinds of,
Seeing women out of clothes.
Hey, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you fucking animal. Hey, the kid was on the fucking South Pole, you hoo. That's, you think Andrew Dice Clay would be a good MMA fighter?
He would, no, I do not.
I'd give him the fucking claw. Hey, like Kerry Von Erich. Hey.
Ford Fairlane was a great movie though. I won't have it.
You trained in Oakland with Andre Ward.
Yep.
Super middleweight champion.
Yep.
And Virgil Hunter.
Yes, Virgil was
his trainer. I just saw on 24/7. I didn't realize you explained it in the book, and that reading I did, by the way, was from A Fighter's Heart. That's Sam Sheridan's book. Give the guy some money. Go to Amazon.com through the J. Mohr link and buy it. I'm telling you guys, I haven't Look, I put your name on it. I put my name on What do we got? Burning Love, Ken Marino. I put my name on with Charlie Sheen. I said Platoon, one of the greatest movies of all time.
Can't go wrong there.
No, I like to hear about it, potheads. I am reality. I put my name on Bad Brains in a podcast, and I'm telling you guys, this book is so awesome, and A Fighter's Mind is awesome too, because you get more into the mindfuckness. There's an entire chapter in here only about